What if happiness is the bait that keeps you suffering? Think about it. You want something. You chase it. You get it. And for a moment, brief, fleeting, you feel satisfied. Then what? The wanting returns. A new desire, a new goal, a new emptiness. You're back where you started, hungry again, restless again. And you think, maybe the next thing will be different. Maybe the next achievement, the next relationship, the next purchase will finally fill the void. But it never does, because the trap isn't in what you're chasing. It's in the chasing itself. Arthur Schopenhauer understood this better than almost anyone. The 19th century German philosopher looked at human existence and saw something most people refuse to see. That life isn't a journey toward happiness. It's a cycle of perpetual dissatisfaction. And the engine driving that cycle, the will to live. Schopenhauer believed that at the core of every living thing is an irrational blind force he called the will. It's not conscious. It's not intelligent. It's just drive. Relentless, insatiable drive. The will pushes you to survive, to reproduce, to strive, to want. It doesn't care about your happiness. It only cares about continuation. You are not in control. The will is, and the will never rests. Think about hunger. You eat, you're satisfied. For an hour, maybe two. Then hunger returns. You eat again, satisfied again, then hungry again. The cycle never ends. You can't win. You can only postpone the discomfort. Now expand that to everything. Career ambition, romantic desire, social status, material possessions. Every fulfilled desire is just a temporary pause in an endless loop of wanting. Schopenhauer called this the pendulum of suffering. On one side, unfulfilled desire, pain, longing, frustration. On the other side, fulfilled desire. But fulfillment doesn't bring lasting happiness. It brings boredom, emptiness. The restless question, what now? So you swing back. You find something new to want, and the cycle continues. Most people spend their entire lives on this pendulum, swinging between wanting and boredom, never realizing they're trapped in a mechanism designed to keep them dissatisfied. Schopenhauer wrote, "Life swings like a pendulum backward and forward between pain and boredom." That's it. That's the human condition. Pain when you don't have what you want. Boredom when you do. Happiness. It's not a destination. It's just the brief moment of transition between suffering and emptiness. A flicker. A lie. You might think, but I've been happy. I've felt joy, real joy. Have you? Or have you felt relief? Relief from pain. Relief from wanting. The absence of suffering masquerading as happiness. Schopenhauer argued that pleasure is always negative. It's not something you gain. It's the temporary removal of discomfort. You're not happy when you eat. You're just no longer hungry. You're not happy when you're loved. You're just no longer lonely. Happiness is the ghost of pain. And because pain is the default state, because desire is constant, suffering defines your existence far more than joy ever could. Modern psychology backs this up. It's called the hedonic treadmill. No matter what happens to you, lottery win, dream job, perfect relationship, you adapt. The initial spike of happiness fades. You return to your baseline. And the baseline, it's not bliss. It's neutral at best. Restless dissatisfaction at worst. Studies show that people who achieve major life goals, wealth, fame, success, report only temporary increases in happiness. Within months, sometimes weeks, they're back where they started emotionally, wanting more, needing more. Because the problem isn't external, it's internal. It's the will, the engine of desire that never stops running. Then there's dopamine, the neurotransmitter everyone associates with pleasure. But dopamine doesn't create satisfaction. It creates wanting. It's released in anticipation of reward, not in receiving it. The chase excites you. The capture disappoints. That's why scrolling social media feels better than actually connecting with people. Why shopping feels better than owning. Why fantasizing about success feels better than achieving it. Dopamine rewards the hunt, not the kill. You're biologically designed to suffer, to want endlessly, to never be satisfied. Schopenhauer wasn't the first to notice this. 2,500 years earlier, the Buddha said essentially the same thing. Life is suffering. The cause of suffering is desire. Buddhism teaches that attachment to things, to people, to outcomes is the root of all pain. You cling to what's impermanent. You demand stability in a world of constant change. And you suffer because reality refuses to cooperate with your desires. Both Schopenhauer and the Buddha arrived at the same diagnosis. The human mind is a desire-generating machine. And desire is suffering, not because you can't get what you want, but because even when you do, it's never enough. Schopenhauer admired Buddhism deeply. He saw it as the closest humanity had come to understanding the nature of existence. But where Buddhism offers a path to liberation through detachment and enlightenment, Schopenhauer was more pessimistic. He doubted most people could escape the will's grip. His solution: aesthetic contemplation, article, music, philosophy, moments where you step outside yourself and forget your desires, where you stop being a subject trapped in wanting and become a pure observer. But these moments are rare, temporary. The will always pulls you back. So what's the point? If suffering is inevitable, if desire is endless, if happiness is an illusion, why bother? Here's where Schopenhauer becomes unexpectedly useful. Understanding this doesn't make life meaningless. It makes life honest. When you recognize the trap, you stop blaming yourself for feeling empty after achieving your goals. You stop thinking something's wrong with you because success didn't bring lasting fulfillment. You see the mechanism, and seeing it gives you power. Not the power to escape suffering entirely. Schopenhauer was clear about that. But the power to stop adding unnecessary suffering on top of the inevitable kind. Most of our pain is self-inflicted. We suffer because we expect life to deliver permanent happiness. We suffer because we think the next achievement will finally complete us. We suffer because we compare our internal experience to other people's curated external lives and assume we're failing at something everyone else has figured out. But nobody's figured it out. They're all on the same pendulum, swinging between wanting and boredom, pretending otherwise. When you accept that satisfaction is temporary by design, you stop demanding the impossible. You stop chasing the myth of happily ever after. You stop treating every moment of dissatisfaction as a personal failure. Instead, you find meaning in the process itself, not in achieving goals, but in the act of living. Not in permanent happiness, but in momentary beauty. Article, connection, understanding, presence. Schopenhauer found peace in music, in philosophy, in observing existence without trying to possess it. You might find it in creating something, in helping someone, in sitting with discomfort instead of running from it, in recognizing that everyone you meet is trapped in the same cycle of wanting and responding with compassion instead of competition. This is the paradox. Understanding that life is suffering doesn't make you miserable. It makes you free. Free from illusions. Free from impossible expectations. Free from the belief that you're supposed to feel happy all the time. Suffering stops being a problem to solve and becomes a condition to understand. And understanding changes everything. The hedonic treadmill keeps running. The dopamine keeps firing. The will keeps pushing. But you're no longer a prisoner of the mechanism. You're aware of it. You see it operating. And in that awareness, that refusal to be fooled, there's something close to liberation. Not happiness, but clarity. Not pleasure, but peace. Schopenhauer wrote, "The wise man remains in a state of calm indifference toward the vicissitudes of life, not because he's achieved permanent bliss, but because he's stopped expecting it. He's accepted the pendulum. He's made peace with the will. He's chosen meaning over pleasure, understanding over comfort. That's the way out of the trap. Not by escaping desire, you can't, but by seeing it clearly, by refusing to let temporary satisfaction trick you into thinking you've arrived, by knowing that the void will return and being okay with that. Because the void isn't failure, it's design, it's human, it's real. And maybe, just maybe, realizing that you're not supposed to be happy all the time is the first step toward actually being okay. Schopenhauer's trap isn't suffering itself. It's the belief that suffering is avoidable, that happiness is attainable, that you're one achievement away from finally feeling complete. You're not. You never will be. And that's not a tragedy. That's the truth. The question isn't, how do I escape suffering? It's, how do I live knowing suffering is inevitable? And the answer, not by chasing happiness, but by embracing meaning. Not by avoiding pain, but by understanding it. Because freedom doesn't come from getting what you want. It comes from seeing why you want it in the first place, and choosing what to do with that knowledge.